Hi, my name's Barsby and I'm the AquaX Championship Manager, and we're here at Stokes Bay for the second round of the championship, and I'm going to give you a quick tour of the skis that you'll see out on the water this weekend. These are the two types of skis that we race in AquaX. There's the stand-up, these are the original machines. Both skis are completely stock. These are the sit-downs, this is the big boy, this is the Kawasaki 300 Ultra, 300 horsepower that is, as opposed to these are like 74 horsepower. The machines are both stock, they come from the factory like this, they're allowed to change a little bit of their handling, hence the handlebars, grips, to make it a little bit more comfortable, but as far as the engines, they've got to remain absolutely stock. Very simple system on these. Loose handle pole, and the rider stands in the tray, and the pole goes up and down with him as like a sort of concertina and a shock absorber. This is very physically demanding to ride and requires an awful lot of balance. So out there this weekend in these choppy conditions, I think we're going to see quite a few of them swimming. So we have the handlebars, operating wise. Handlebars, we've got a finger throttle here. There's no brakes, that's all to do with you as far as control. And as you pull in the throttle, it increases the jet pump and the water going through the jet. So we have a jet pump system, the water is sucked in from underneath and then it comes out through the back. As you turn the handlebars, it redirects you. Now this little item here, which is known as a ride plate, is very, very important. This is an aftermarket. They're allowed to change this as it's considered a handling modification, but the longer they are or the way they're cut will decide on how the machine turns. So that's quite an important part, but the rest is completely stock. Then we move onto the Kawasaki's. This is one type of many models that are raced, but this is very popular in AquaX. This is the biggest machine you can get. This is the 310R, so a lot of horsepower. These are supercharged and hit 60 miles an hour in 3.5 seconds. So they take quite a lot of holding on to. But with this one, unlike that one, you get a nice comfy seat to sit on when you get tired. But that doesn't make it any easier, especially when it's rough out there. But exactly the same system. You've got a handlebar, you've got a finger throttle, and of course you've got the nozzle and the directional nozzle at the back. And also you've got a couple of wing mirrors if you want to look at yourself on the way around. Also on here we've got the speed dials. So they've got, this will show you how much fuel you've got in there, which is quite important actually, because these bad boys are very, very juicy. And a good half an hour race, wide open throttle, you can probably do a full tank, which is 80 litres. If it's rough, then you'll only use probably 1/4 of a tank, and that's the difference. But there's also a trim system on here, which moves the nozzle, as we were looking at earlier, up and down. That will help with the nose as far as ploughing the water. Sometimes you want to keep the nose up, sometimes you want to keep it down. This is a very important part of equipment. This is the lanyard or the kill switch, and each rider, by our rules, has to wear one of these, and it fits around the wrist, has to be attached at the wrist, and then it also fits under the start-stop switch of the ski, which is incredibly stiff, as you can see, it's quite on there. And so at any point in which the rider comes away from the ski or falls off the ski, then the lanyard will pull out and the engine will die straight away. And that's a very important part of our pre-safety tech, pre-racing. So that must be in working order, good working order, before they pass tech to go racing. The same with all the runabouts. Theirs are a little bit more sophisticated. This is a manual one, theirs are more of a a sort of electronic version, but they're exactly the same. They're exactly the same thing, and very important. And these are also checked after the race as well. And if they don't work in the technical scrutineering after the race, then the rider gets disqualified. So it is an incredibly important part, and they must be working properly, 100%. If you want to come and race with us, there are a few things that you need to have, mandatory pieces of safety equipment, and that is, of course, the buoyancy aid, which is here. That needs to be 50 newtons, and that's very, very important. The jet ski ones have an impact as well on the front, which is for the handlebars, any impact on the handlebars. They're specifically designed for jet skiing. If we can turn you around, John. And we also have to wear a back protector. This is like a motocross back protector. It starts from the top of the bottom and up to just here below at the top of the, well, at the bottom of the neck really. So that protects the whole of the back. We also request that riders wear wetsuits. It's a long race, so in an endurance race there is a lot of rubbing on there on the seats, so it's important they protect themselves. Boots are also mandatory. Gloves are a choice because some riders don't like wearing gloves. And moving up, obviously, to one of the most important things is the helmet. And of course that has to be British standard. And we tend to use a lot of motocross type helmets because they allow the visibility. Some of the powerboat racing helmets are very closed front. They are, and they create a lot of steam and heat, and then the rider visibility is impaired because the goggles steam up. So the motocross helmets are built for energetic sport, and it allows the heat to dissipate, and therefore, you know, keeps them clear vision. Goggles aren't mandatory because they will come off if you hit a big wave, and some riders don't like riding with them, but most of them do, especially in the salty water. So that's obviously that's mandatory. And then of course the race vest, which is, as John can show. John is one of our rookie riders, so he has a big orange number, and once they graduate to elite, then that number goes black, sorry. So that's very important too. And that also determines what class they're in. So at the moment, John is wearing a white vest, and that is for the 300 class. The 250s wear a black vest, and the 200s wear a red vest.